Good day, cunts.
Oh wow, fucking
There you go. That's all you're getting.
fucking blue-balled. So, as we were about to begin, Hero's just like, "Hey, can I do the intro? I really want to scream g'day cunts," and I'm like, "Yeah, nah, go for it if you want to." Fucking bastard.
Yeah, you're not. All of you guys are not getting the satisfaction.
Anyway, welcome to the GreenCast, guys, a podcast by me, Mr. GreenTex, a podcast where I usually ramble to myself into my bedroom, but then occasionally do it with other people. This episode is one of those episodes. This week I'm joined by fellow smaller YouTuber, Herothehero.
Hey, how's it going, folks? How you doing? I don't really know how to introduce myself. Hey, your boy's a former GreenTex reader turned reviewer of pornography and host of the Best Girl Tournament that just happened right now. Check it out on the channel.
Yeah, that's kind of
Porn aficionado.
It's one of the weirdest flips, I guess. It's just going from a GreenTex narrator to entire porn reviewer.
Yeah, when I starting it was something I was like, I don't know, it's not to toot my own horn a little bit, but I'm gonna do it anyways. It's I kind of just always have been a innovator of sorts. Because when it came to GreenTex, I think I was one of the very few that was live streaming GreenText in front of an audience, even though that didn't go so well. It was just something I wanted to try. And even in my era of GreenText, I was one of the very first people to do 100 autistic filled GreenText all in that was my worst video. I really wish I could do that. I've been contemplating on doing that again, but flipping to the stuff that I do now, saying, all right, I'm tired of doing GreenText. Let me just do something off the wall. And I was like, what better way to do that than talk about pornography?
Yeah, that's just one of the things I really envy about your channel, is the fact that you just have different series that you could actually do. I actually enjoy the Beat It or Beat It and the Best Girl sort of shit. And what I just wanted to ask is, what's the stuff that's most creatively satisfying to make for you?
It's always been when it pertains to video and video editing, it was always Meter to Beat It. It has to be Meter to Beat It. That has been my outlet to really find ways to edit stuff and make it more appealing and more visually entertaining to an audience. Because when I started, it was just a white background. And I was like, I think I should spruce this up a bit. So I've sort of started to train my mind to say, I don't want any video to be exactly the same. I don't want it, the first few videos that started, even the stuff that came, the Meet It or Beat It per se, that came before the name that I gave it, was all the same. And I was like, I think I should switch it up and give it some vibrance and breathe it some new life with visual edits and make everything feel smooth. And I've always had an obsession with that, making everything really smooth, on rhythm, or making sure something as small as the outro, the music that fits for that 20-second time frame. I wanted to make it end on a bass drum, or a snare or something like that. It's just the little things that that have always bugged me. And I was like, all right, let's see if I can fix that up. And the Meet It or Beat It series has really allowed me to express myself more. I mean, I could totally do that with GreenText. Even season 2 of GreenText, even if it was just 2 episodes, it had this whole 80s aesthetic where I was like, fuck it. I'm coming back, even though not for very long, obviously. I'm coming back, and I'm just going to do this balls to the wall fucking thing that I haven't tried before with the old series, and I felt like doing an 80s aesthetic.
Yeah.
And though it didn't really deliver well, it really opened up my eyes. I was like, Yeah, I think I'm meant to just do crazy, not insane edits. Like I'm not expecting to get a job at fucking Pixar or some shit, but like just to really spruce up my content a lot more. And Meter to Beat It has really given me freedom to really express myself through editing, and it's I love it. I mean, you guys could do that the same way with green text, like
Yes and no. The whole
like
the whole like aesthetic of like my channel slash green text though is kind of just like the shittiest sort of like aesthetic. Like it took me a while to try and perfect my own outro, because for a while it's set the static like out card, but then I'm like, because then I had people telling me that like, oh fuck, like 60% of your viewers just aren't subscribed. Then I'm like, fucking what? So I had to try and make, well, the first outro I tried to made was just like me talking at the end, just being like, hey, if you enjoyed the video, do this, go subscribe. And then I just got called a fucking Jew. People hated it. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do?
well, I mean, I think it's because it's not really expected out of you. Not, like I don't want it to come off as
Oh, no, yeah, 100%.
like, it's like it's something that people aren't really used to out of content. Like you have like 40 plus thousand subscribers.
43.
Right? Am I right on that? Like 43,000
as a recording.
Okay. So like to that audience, they're so accustomed to not having not having certain things be there. So when a change comes, they're just not familiar with it, and some rebel against it. Like I'm pretty sure I lost like half of my subscription. Like even people that are on like subscribe, like I'm pretty sure I lost like half of them, and the other half are just like, all right, you're changing your content, I like what you're doing, and the other half haven't even said anything yet. Like it's just a part of the process. So for those that are mad at Mr. Green Text about this whole outro shit, let him do him, okay?
Well, see, the thing is though, it's
yeah.
funny because I fucked up the first time and I'm like, okay, because I only did it for one video and I just see how it went. People hate it and I'm like, all right, I gotta have a serious think about it. And so then I came out with a new one. I found a nice like cartoonish, because that's the whole sort of my aesthetic of my thing is like old cartoonish sort of music, and I found a nice little 30-second or 20-second thing. And then I just went to After Effects, did some nice little animations of it, like typing along, and people seem to really enjoy the outro now. So I think I've nailed it the second time round. But yeah, it took me a bit to figure out the sort of just aesthetic and the thing that people enjoy, because they obviously don't enjoy me telling them to subscribe. So I kind of had to do it another way.
Yeah. Like I just tell them to subscribe if they want to, and then I showcase the outro. I just give them both, and I haven't been criticized for it, which is weird because my audience, like, there's like very few people that really criticize me, which is odd to me because I like criticism. Like if there's constructive criticism for my content, it always shows me that I can improve, and it's not like the critic saying you're doing something wrong and you suck. It's basically the critic saying there's something you need to fix, and it would work way better for you in the long run.
Yeah, this is potentially how you can improve your own content to make it better.
Yeah, so like, I mean, there are critics that like blow smoke up your ass, and there are critics that like try to push you down for no fucking reason other than the fact that they just fucking hate your content.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there are those critics for sure, but like when it comes to constructive criticism, which I would love to have more of, by the way, if you're a part of my audience as well as Mr. Green Tech's audience, like I just love taking criticism for the reason being that it forever improves your content. And without criticism, you're just gonna stay in the same lane. So yeah,
pretty much.
So yeah, it's good to have a change every now and then and get comfortable and have your audience be like, all right, we don't like this, but there's something else you can try.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've also pigeonholed myself a bit, calling myself Mr. Green Text. Like I'm just forever just like
that forever bothered me. I was like, I don't know if this guy wants to do that all the time. Like, I mean, I know you have other channels, but like, I mean, like, it's just like I don't think a person should really. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, if you love doing the stuff that you love, then by all means go for it. But I don't think people should really pigeonhole themselves by calling themselves as a brand. Like, I'm Mr. Tech Reviews or like all that. I'm just like, oh well, you only do tech reviews.
Well, it's it.
Like,
I also just.
What if you did vlogs, man? You know how fucking cool that shit would be, right?
It's also just like I
They got-
completely
yeah.
stole it from Mr. Creepypasta because I'm really creative, and just like I could be the green text version of that.
I'm glad that I'm glad that you can really like. Is it yeah, I think it's self-deprecate. Like, even on content that you stole, because it really shows that you're really honest, and that makes me respect you a lot.
Thanks, dude. Well, I mean, it's also just
'Cause-
like it's so weird because the way that I edit my videos is I make like 10 videos at a time, like almost, and then I just fucking schedule them
Christ.
to upload because it's just like I can spend the day just doing fucking videos and then just leave them up, and I'm good for like a week and a half or so. And it's so weird because it's just like on my end, it's so little effort to put videos up. People always tell me just like, "Oh, I love your videos and stuff," and I'm like, "But it's kind of shit." It didn't.
I mean, some criticisms are kind of bad. You know, some criticisms you just don't take, like, to change this one little tiny thing that like only bothers them for some reason. It's just kind of pointless.
I don't know, but the weirdest like critique that I always like occasionally get is just like, why don't you just do text to speech? And I'm like, well,
No, oh my
there's
god.
literally like
Oh.
7 other channels you can go get that from. There's no point in me doing it, dude.
I feel like my brain really wants to go on a tangent for text to speech. You know what? Fuck it. Let's
Yeah,
do
go
it
for
right
it.
here. All right. You know, there's certain channels that have like the excuse of like, well, my speech won't come out properly or anything like that. Like, I'm not really good at communicating with my audience with my actual voice, which is understandable. I mean, like when I was on the podcast with Creepsworks and I believe Neckbeard Cave, he explained that like my accent is so thick, so I decided to use text to speech because it comes out way clearer. And I was like, yeah, that works. I mean, I don't want to stir up too much drama, but I don't like text to speech channels. I mean, not channels, but like the idea of text to speech, because it really feels like it's kind of lazy. Like, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, he's gonna attack Cowbelly or Grab the Christian or whatever his third alias is, and I'm just like, look, the guy, it makes him guap, all right, it makes him cheese, okay, and I don't knock that. I just preferably think that text to speech is kind of lazy in a way if you don't have that excuse of really like a barrier of like language or like my accent is too thick. Like with Neckbeard Cave, I was like, oh, I understand why he does that now. But for people that can speak perfect English, I'm like, why do you utilize that? You can't just read it out? Like,
I don't know. There's definitely a sort of like I want to say aesthetic, but I feel like that's the wrong word when it comes to like, because people just associate like text to speech with like that sort of content with like green text and like memes and that sort of stuff. And I mean, like one of the funniest videos I've ever seen is like I can't remember the name of it. It might have been Cowbelly like ages ago or something like that. But it was like a Club Penguin video when that was still alive, and it was just like text to speech reading of just these fucked comments to get him banned, and just and like. It just made it like, so much like funnier when it was just text to speech reading these fucked comments.
yeah, cause it's like a monotone, sort of dead, really deadpan, like sort of Vocaloid type thing. That's just, I guess it's just an automated machine really describing something so outrageous, which makes it funny.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like vice versa. Like, if you heard a human voice say that, it probably wouldn't have much of an impact in terms of humor. but for text to speech channels, I mean, I don't hate them entirely. I just hate the idea of utilizing text to speech because it just really is grating to the ears after you hear like Common Awards 76 after watching Common Awards 1 through 75. I don't know. It's just a weird thing for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe that, like, because I mean, like, I like Wave Titan's the best example. I've had him on the podcast before. He's a cool guy. He's obviously a lot bigger than me. He does green text and that sort of stuff, and he does like 10-minute compilations. And I tried to like watch one of them a couple of days ago, and I got like halfway through, and I'm like, this is like too much all at once. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, right.
This.
I mean, if it's I don't mind sort of like I don't mind text to speech in this sense, like right here, like if you utilize other voices for text to speech instead of just one voice, I think that would really improve upon what those text to speech channels are trying to do. This is just my critique. Like if you have like Microsoft Sam talk to like Microsoft Alice or whatever the heck, like making a back and forth for like different voices in like a green text or something like that, it would really add somewhat of a dimension to the content.
Yeah, but a variety, that'd be nice.
But if it's just Microsoft Sam talking about, like, it really gets grating after a while. Really hurts the ears, the baby ears.
But yeah, I don't know. Because like ages ago when I made this, I didn't even really like take into account that sort of like text to speech sort of stuff, and I kind of just like now. I kind of just like am of the belief that personality is kind of what people would prefer over that, and so far it's doing me fucking well. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's the aspect where I kind of fail at a little bit in a sense, because I used to do like back in the early days, like even before I had the name Herothehero, like I had 2 other names, like way back when, like in like 2000, early 2016, like I did vlogs and shit, and I really tried to express my personality, and like since that didn't get really any views or get where I wanted to go, like I just kind of canned the idea. I mean, if I could bring them back now and inject all the personality I can into the content, I'm pretty sure people would like it, but I don't know. Like with stuff like Meet It or Beat It, it's kind of like a monotone or more professional or more formal. I know it's weird. I know.
Professional, as I'm looking at a lolly getting ripped in half, getting fucked.
Oh yes, look, as you can see here, the divine piece of a lolly getting ripped in half by a big nigger dick. Oh yes, quite exquisite.
Fucking hell.
But like injecting personality is really hard for me to do. Especially for something that's so familiar, like to an audience. They're like, "Oh, you talk this way," and hearing you talk in like with other voices is like really weird. And like some people could rebel against that, and they're like, "I don't like that. I don't really like. Actually, sir, you should be able to talk like this." And I'm like, I could talk about however the fuck I want to. Okay, it's just that I choose not to because it's sort of that style that's really. That's like kind of growing on my audience. It's hard. I guess it's just hard to change as a content creator. Like making a good left and a good right.
Yeah, what I'm going to try to do, because obviously I'm still going to be making green text, but I also put out a poll recently on my channel, asking people what they thought of an additional upload every week of just like a shit post from me doing whatever else, and that way I could be more creative.
Oh yeah,
and putting together an Australian shit poster costume, so I could do like parodies of other shit, and that'll just be an additional thing that I upload on the weekend, so that way people still have their green text.
Yeah, they still have.
And then I can still do what I want.
A very good space to like. You have a space like you have breathing room for green text, and then you have something else on Saturdays. That's really smart. That's actually really genius idea, because if people like what they like, they'll specifically like. I mean, it works, but like it has like the way to like really split your audience, Because if your audience gravitates more towards that, and they're like, "What the heck is a green text?" Blah, blah, and then like people on green text are gonna be like, "What the fuck is this fucking shit right here, man?" It's like I don't know. I think I split my audience.
Well, yeah. Well, when I put out the poll, I put out like different options because there's obviously going to be heaps of people that they're only here to watch green text. Like, well, I mean, when I put out the podcast on my channel, it obviously doesn't get as many views as like the green text do, obviously. Yeah. And I'm like, that's your free vote with your view and whatever the fuck, do whatever. I'm not forcing you to watch this extra content. It's there if you want it for the people that do. Because it's literally like the top comment was like, I will watch anything with your voice. You could even just be staring at a wall talking, and I would watch it. And I'm like,
if
cool.
you make
this, at least I know it's gonna get some views from some people that are gonna enjoy it. So I'm gonna fucking.
If you make a video of you watching fucking paint dry for like a good hour straight, I'ma fucking die.
That's.
It's gonna be.
I have a right to pen on my whiteboard.
Oh yeah, I just recently bought a whiteboard. It's not really that big. I wish I had a bigger whiteboard, but at least I can list my now priorities on there. Cause like online, when I have a ratings list for Meet It or Beat It, and I have a I know it sounds ridiculous, and I have a video production list for like future uploads or what I want to do. And
yeah,
you know, like that wasn't really working for me because I always lost focus all the time. And I think a lot more YouTubers should really utilize something like a whiteboard to really write their ideas and get their priorities straight. Because when I bought my whiteboard yesterday, I was like, all right, let me list my priorities down. And I was like, best girls tournament is at the top of my list because I've like amped it up so hard, like I promoted it so hard. And I was like, that's what they want first. And then I was like, Meet It or Beat It episode on Wednesday. And then there's like GreenCast Friday, which would be today. And then like clean up the writing of the Shadman special, which is like on the back burner for the reason being that I haven't worked on it yet. And I've been working on this type of stuff. So yeah,
but yeah, no,
it's very efficient.
Whiteboard is like the best thing I've ever fucking bought. Because like, for example, like I remember, I don't know whatever fucking video it was, like some update from yours or whatever. But it was just like, you had like a Google Doc of like all of your uploads and stuff. And I mean, that's nice to have like something like that, you can access it. But having like a whiteboard, like mine's mounted like on my fucking wall, right beside my door, right beside my computer. So it's always there just fucking looking at me. I can always just look up there and just see like, oh, I've got this to do, or fucking, oh, that's that list of things that I need to get to, or reminders for myself or anything like that. It's honestly the most efficient you could be is get yourself a fucking whiteboard if I have anything
typing stuff down just doesn't really feel right. Like when you write shit down, you know, like it feels like when you look at it, it feels like it has a purpose now because you wrote that. Like that's your priority list now. And it's very efficient. Like if you're trying to be like a YouTuber yourself, like I know a lot of people are like, I'm inspired by your content and I want to be a YouTuber. And I'm like, well, first of all, get you a fucking whiteboard because it'll be really efficient on where you want to go if you want to have organization and structure in your content. So I suggest the whiteboard, like big or small, doesn't matter as long as you can put your priorities on there. Or like a bulletin board if you want to go that route.
Or like oh, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh yeah, I think I just cut out.
You were fizzing really hard, and I was like, whoa, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, I think I must have been like leaning on my fucking cable or something because I just looked at my Audacity. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah, don't know what that was. Yeah, even if you like not really YouTube, I'd even suggest getting a whiteboard because even like when I was going through university and stuff, it was so nice just to have a list of just like, I need to get this assignment done. I have this thing on this assignment to do, and it's like almost like a checklist. And then it's just a thing that I can look at and just see like, oh, I've got this left to do on this and this and this. Oh, and I've only got these things left, and then I can wipe them off my whiteboard as you go, or even just like working on a video, just like take a picture of it so you don't lose anything, obviously. Wipe everything off and then just write down a bunch of shit that you're working on. Like, oh, I've got this visual effects shot to do.
Oh, shit.
I've got this many. When you visualize it like that, It just makes it a whole lot easier.
Oh no, everything is falling apart.
Uh,
Sorry, my like, I pulled on a cord and then like everything has started to fucking fall.
This podcast is falling apart.
Fucking get on. One cord. My phone fell and like it pulled everything fucking down.
Oh Jesus! Do you not have any like cord organization on your table or anything like that?
Not really. Not at the moment. I haven't found time to get some of those.
See, the best thing that I've honestly bought myself is I bought myself a wireless charger for my phone. And it's so nice. It's just the thing that I can just keep on my desk. And whenever I'm like at my desk, I just like pop my phone down and it's just like always charged now. And so there's also like, you can't accidentally pull it off the table when it falls off because there's no cord attached to it.
Yeah. It really sucks when you have like
And
a
they're like-
limited desk size. For me, because like I have my PS3 on my desk, I have my extra monitor on my desk, I have my camera behind my monitor, I have a lamp, another lamp in case if I have to like do stuff with like live action or just like film like something really quick, like a really important update or whatever the heck, or like, and I have like a bunch of pencils and pens and stuff in case if I want to like pull up shit and draw and like create new logos and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of cluttered, but I mean I deal with it. I live with it.
I don't know, mine's just because I've got 3 monitors, 2 monitors and like a TV, because like I really like my sort of desk setup how it is. It's got like 2 levels to it. It's got like a shelf where that's basically the TV sitting up there, and mostly like the reason it's not so much just like, oh, I got a fucking
mine is just
monitor.
a flat surface, so everything just sits on there.
Yeah, but it's nice to have that because when I have people over to edit stuff with, whether I'm editing a short film or whatever, I can set the preview to go up on the TV on the shelf up there, so then people aren't constantly leaning over my shoulder trying to look at this small preview. They can just look up there and just see how I'm going.
Yeah.
And it also just makes things a whole lot fucking easier.
Yeah. This is why I need a fucking desktop, so I can have like monitors in a good position, because when you have a laptop and a monitor right next to each other, they have to stay in that close proximity. And you don't have much wiggle room unless if you like want to go ahead and yank out like the HDMI and all that stuff. It's it's weird, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a stage where I had a fucking laptop monitor situation like that, but then I bought like a basic rig and just like upgraded it, and I've rebuilt my computer and built it so many fucking times. It's just, I don't know. I got a pretty good setup. The only thing that's kind of shit is I just need a new graphics card. But otherwise, I got a pretty beefy computer at this point, and just slowly upgrading it as I go.
You're giving me more of a reason to actually get my first job now. I need to stop being a lazy ass. Like, I've just been sitting here doing like YouTube all the time. I haven't fucking had time to socialize. It's weird locking yourself away like that, but yeah, I don't know. I've gotten too comfortable. My mom's like, "You're getting fat," and I'm just like, "I'm not that fat." Go outside.
Start going.
And I'm like, "With who?"
Why don't you go get? Why don't you go get swole? Go to gym.
Oh, true. I mean, I like doing stuff the natural way, like just running outside.
I don't know. I do too, but like
going to a gym.
Like
going to a gym is just real. I don't know. To me, it's like really claustrophobic, in a sense. Like you're stationary. I want to go somewhere. You know, I want to see some things. You know, I'm glad I live like right next to a pond or like a stream. I could just walk around that area all the time. I used to do that like before I went to community college. All the time, like every day, like at 6 a.m. I'm just like, you know what? Let me take a walk. Let me listen to some awesome ass music. Yeah, that's the like.
What's community college?
Oh, community college is just like a college based in your community. It's pretty like it's like there's university where you go to like a different state or something. There's like a big whole entire like not utility, like a whole entire gigantic campus. But with community college, it's on a smaller scale, and it can be like near your
Right.
town. So in like in the States, uh, like I went to, well, I'm gonna go again in like the winter, but I would used to go to Montgomery College in Silver Spring, and I just ride the bus and just go over there, and it doesn't take that long. You can just walk over, like someone can
Right.
just walk over there. From, like they're like it's like basically a college campus near your house, but on like a smaller scale. So, like community is
Right.
just in your area.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sorry if
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
not
it's
good
just
at
like I
explaining
don't think that's
it,
really I don't think that's really a thing here.
yeah, like some people,
It's kind of just like there's a university over here if you want to go to it. Good luck.
yeah. There's like places like Towson and like there's like practically one university for every single state, and like community is just like a condensed version of that in a smaller area, and you could just go there.
Right.
And it's just like college, except with that, like you could just go home. Like you don't have to go, like you don't have to be like 17 miles away from your house. You could just go to community college, get your classes done, go to work, and then go home after you're done with
Yeah.
the day.
No, I was definitely lucky with like mine as well, because I live in Queensland here, and I live not too far from Brisbane, which is like the main sort of like city in Queensland. And I went to whatever, I'll just fucking say it. Who fucking cares? I don't go there anymore. I went to SA Institute Brisbane, which is basically a whole creative like institute. It's not technically like a university, but it kind of is. It just offers the sort of same shit. It's basically a university that only offers like creative sort of stuff, like audio engineering and film and game design and that sort of stuff. And that was fucking great to go there, because I met so many fucking other good creators and made so many friends and shit like that. But it was so easy for me because like I just caught the train into the city and then caught the bus. Like it was pretty easy for me to go back and forth. Well, I say easy, but it still took me like an hour and a half each way. But I mean, I got there, and it was a good experience overall.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to add to that. Like you just pretty much explained it.
But
I was gonna ask if you did any, like you did like a community tab post or anything like that for this podcast, because you usually do that for every single podcast. And I was like,
oh yeah, no, I did it a couple of days ago, so it's built up a little bit.
do they have
That'll
questions?
be towards the end.
Questions.
They will, but that will come later. There's still some more stuff that I want to talk about with you.
Okay, I'm getting impatient. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm really. Well, I'm not as hyperactive as I used to be, but I'm like, get to the point.
That's fine. So I've often talked about other aspects. I've often compared aspects of Australia and America just because I find it fascinating about how different it is. School is obviously the best example for it. And before I get the comments, no, I'm not gonna fucking lead into how fucking guns and shooters and whatever the fuck. It's just more sort of just the entire experience about how different it is. Like schools in America, I'm fairly sure, are like almost entirely contained indoors. Schools here are just buildings that you just walk between. Majority of schools here have uniforms. The social aspect is completely fucking different. The whole like jock thing isn't a fucking thing here.
Oh, we don't. Well, yeah, I think we kind of. Well, I mean, that's really like the whole jock and like prep and greaser and stuff. Like the whole entire like, I'll call it the bully model, like the bully the game. Like if you ever played it, like it's like they had like.
I haven't, but I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it has like sections and like posses and groups and shit. I don't think we really have that here. Like when I went to school. When I went to high school, we didn't really have like official groups. Like we did have people that played football and basketball, and like they were just like sports. And then there was like never really a popular group. There was just like a bunch of people in the like tiny little subgroups. Like
Right.
yeah, so I don't think I mean some schools could have that. Like but everybody was like really interactive with each other. Like everybody said hi to everybody, so I don't think there was really a formation of like groups where we segregated other people. And you're like, you're not supposed to be here because this is the nerd group, or like, you're not supposed to be here. This is for jocks. And I'm like, no, I don't think we have that here. I don't think it really goes for the U.S. I think it's pretty much glorified by the media.
Yeah, it's just like glorified in like cinema and whatever the fuck.
I mean, not the
like,
media.
TV
I mean,
shows and
movies
that sort of stuff.
and shit like that. But yeah, we don't really have that here, actually, which is cool. I like that. Everybody.
Yeah, because that was pretty much like the same thing for us. There's no really like popular social dynamic. There was of course like the wanky kids that are like got like leadership sort of positions and that sort of shit.
There were fuck boys and fuck girls. Yeah, fuck boys and thoughts and Twitch thoughts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but everybody melded together. It was like a gigantic like pot of like culture, I guess, in a sense. Everybody was from everywhere, and in public schools, like all intertwined.
Well, yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the same goes for Australia. You probably had people coming from the U.S. like.
Not so much from the US. It's mostly like Asia and that sort of like area.
But still, there's like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of shit. I'm trying to remember. Diversity, maybe, perhaps, right?
Oh yeah, we're pretty multicultural. But I mean, I often see like African Americans like walking around here, like proper like African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
There's a heap of Asians always around here. I don't know. It's kind of racist, but my dad often, when we're in the city or something, he just like looks around and he just looks at me and he just goes, "Hey, let's play Spot the Aussie," and I'm like, "Ooh." Ooh.
You're playing a dangerous game, old man.
I mean, he's 70. He's allowed to be fucking racist.
Yeah.
He's just of that fucking age.
Speaking of stuff regarding race, I was like in my room just pacing, and I was like, I think we should allow white people to say the N-word at this point, because it's getting ridiculous. Because isn't like not allowing a race to use a specific word that like is a part of free speech racism in itself? Because it's discrimination against like white folk and probably other races as well, for them not to say that word. I allow anybody to say the N-word. We multicultural as fuck in our Discord, son.
Well, I mean, you probably can't stop the edgelords from saying it either.
there are edgelords, and there's probably like a very small sum of people that say it like unironically and just have to get it out of their system. But I just allow anybody to say the N-word because it doesn't faze me as a black content creator. Like, I'm just like, fuck it. Like, allow them to say it. It's part of their free space. Like I have two rules in life. The only things that I don't fuck with is if you affect me and my family or my rights and my right to freedom of like, if you affect my right to speak freely about anything, that's fucked up. Like, and same goes for everybody. Like, I don't want to prohibit anybody from saying anything. Anybody can say the combination of nigger and Jew and just call it nigger Jew in my fucking Discord, and I'm just like, yeah, man, that's tight.
Well, see, the thing with freedom of speech that I think that should be looked at more is you should be free to say whatever the fuck you want to whatever the hell or whoever the hell you want, but then the person that's getting the hate also then has the freedom to fucking call you out on your shit if you want to.
Yeah, that's very true. The only thing I hate is like how the N-word is so hypocritical, or not hypocritical, but like take this scenario for example. If like a white person called a black person the N-word, right? Like hitting them back out of like pure ignorance just makes you right, Like if even if like it wasn't intentional, like if they could say the word niggardly and it doesn't even mean it as a racial slur, and then you can get that white person decked in the face out of pure ignorance. That's just proving you right in a sense of like, if you don't want to be called the N-word, don't prove them right. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's such a stupid thing, and That's why I think white people
Yeah.
should be able to say the N-word, because it's so in our culture now. Like, rap is like the most popular fucking genre at the moment. And like the whole Kendrick Lamar incident, I was like,
Oh,
if
yeah,
like
I was gonna say that. Fucking.
Whoopi Goldberg was right. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, I'm fucking up her name, but Whoopi Goldberg was so right when she said, "If you don't want white people saying the N-word, then don't put it in your songs." And I was like, "Yes, Queen. Yes, Lord." In a
Or don't fucking get someone up who's white and get them to sing a song that says nigger like 3 times.
I wouldn't get anybody on
Like,
stage.
what do you
if I was
fucking
an artist,
expect?
You know, out of safety reasons. Like, too many people be dying out here. Did you not see the Ariana Grande concert bombing? I think it was that happened like a good while ago. Like, I would not pull anybody up on stage for my life and everybody else's life on stage. I don't think artists should pull people up on stage in general. Like, unless if it's like
There was also
like a fellow collaborator or something like that.
Yeah. There's also like a thing that people seem to have forgotten about. There was like a YouTuber that did like a meet and greet after like one thing like that. And someone like just straight up pulled a gun during the meet and greet and just fucking shot her. And she fucking died, I'm fairly sure. And like people just seem to like forgotten about that. And like
was it the whole entire YouTube incident that happened like a month and a half back? Or like not too long ago?
No, it wasn't like at YouTube HQ. No, it was I'll see if I can fucking find it. Give me a second. It was like this girl she's a YouTuber, she did like a meet and greet afterwards and someone fucking shot her. YouTuber meet and greet.
I think I know what you're talking about. Wasn't Onision like being an asshole and like
Christina
like, bagging
Grimmie?
on her
That's
for
the
it?
one. Murdered at meet and greet.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah,
so
people just seem to have forgotten about that. And I mean, there's always like the fucking people are doing YouTubers doing tours, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're touring, but good on you, I guess. But they're doing meet and greets afterwards, and it's always just like, oh man.
If I ever got
I'd
big
be
enough
worried.
to like really establish myself as like a top tier content creator, like I would never like do shit like that. That would risk my life. Cause I'm not to be mean to those like you can even point it out later. Like if I even contradict myself, like, but still, I wouldn't really want to risk my life that way. Because it's so open. Like, I'm not saying I want to hide like behind like a bunch of security guards, but I don't want to go out and like have the situation possibly happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just kind of want to stay safe in my sense.
It is definitely like the sort of nature of like my audience, for example. Like I have a heap of fucking like edgelords.
Yeah.
Like there's people that just like, I don't know, I remove them because they're just dumb. They're just people just comment just nigger and they just don't say anything else. And I'm like, cool. You put a lot of effort into that comment, cunt. Removed. And like there's definitely been people that are like, oh fucking I'm gonna kill you, whatever the fuck.
Typed 5 letters, good job.
Don't come to school tomorrow. And I mean, like, sure, there's probably some that are memeing, but there's probably some others that probably aren't, that are actually fucking mentally deranged.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, even with my audience, like, my audience is, like, really chill. But I'm pretty sure there are, like, at least a couple of people that are, like, that mentally need help. And, you know, like if I don't really talk about the topic of like stuff like suicide or anything like that, because it's not, I don't think I really have the right to, because I've never really felt heavily like about that or like wanting to commit suicide myself. Like I've never been on,
no, or even like have any experience with like anyone else has really went through
like I haven't even experienced the feeling of grief like for like another person, as like somewhat cold as that sounds. Like, the only time I felt grief was, like, when I accidentally killed a bird once. That was the only true time I felt grief. Like,
wait, well,
you want me to explain the story?
So on my end, it cut out. It said, I've only experienced grief for... And then it cut out, so I don't actually know what you said.
Oh.
What did you actually say?
I said I felt grief for a bird I accidentally killed when I was, like, a kid.
Oh shit.
Okay, so let me explain the story, because this shit fucking made me go into like a a crying hysteria because that shit affected me so deeply. So I was at church, right? And we were outside doing like a lesson and stuff. And we were looking at like the bird's eggs, right? And like somebody bumped into me and my finger, like my thumb went into like the whole, like the crack the egg. And then everybody was like, the bird's gonna die, the bird's gonna die. And like my heart sunk so deep, I swear to God, I had a third like nut in my ball sack. Like, fucking crazy.
Jesus Christ. I mean, like, yeah, I'm probably like the same.
That was the only
I had,
time I prayed so
pet
heavily
hermit
for
crabs
like.
that died, but I can't remember the fucking
That was
names,
the only time I prayed
fuck's
so
sake.
heavy for forgiveness.
I haven't like experienced anything. I mean, sure, I've had like family, friends, relatives that have died, but like, I don't know. I've never really fucking.
Yeah,
talked to
yeah,
them, so
it's
not
weird.
really,
Like, there's a
experiencing any
disconnect,
grief for
so
them.
like you can't really grieve for them. Like when my mom, like the only thing you can really do is just feel sorry.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Where are we going with this? I
Still
totally
there?
forgot. Yeah, I'm
Hello?
here.
Hero.
I'm here. Hold up.
Oh,
Hold up.
no.
Hold up. I got it. Let me. We're
Oh
good.
fuck.
We're good.
Oh.
We're good.
Oh.
Okay, good. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
we're good now.
Jesus fuck! It's hot as shit in this room.
Dropped it.
Ah.
Okay, so yeah, another thing about fucking Australia and America, polar opposites. I've got the heater on right now
And
because
it's
it's
so
so
like
cold.
I didn't want to turn on the air conditioning because I sacrifice content than my own well-being. I sacrifice my well-being more than I sacrifice content.
I don't know. I mean, like, my fancy pants mic doesn't really even pick up. Like, I got the fan going, I got the fucking aircon
Yeah.
going. It's not picking up shit. It's the best thing in
Damn,
the
I need
world.
one of those shits because I only got like a blue snowball, and that shit picks up everything. Like I hate when it picks up shit from outside.
I don't know,
even
it's-
when the windows close and stuff. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it's definitely like the one that I got is like a lot of people use it. Like I see it in like Funhouse's content. They use the same microphone. A lot of podcasts use it. I think I can't remember the name of it. It's
I've always wanted
Audio-Technica
an
something or
Audio-Technica,
other. But it's like
headset because it sounds so clear. Like my friend had one. I was like, "Yo, I need that. I need that. I want that." And, you know, I've been trying to save up for it for so long.
I don't know. It'd be nice, but like the funny thing as well, is that since like YouTube is like my job, like stuff like buying a mic is a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I have to use for my job. Not that I pay tax, because I fucking fall under the bracket anyway. But I still keep the receipt just in case. But that's like a whole like thing that I don't know about. Because like the way, because I make a nice bit of money. It's not like. Best example is like when I was at university, I was on like student benefits, and I'm getting I don't know how much more. I'd say maybe a little bit like double, like what I was getting from like my benefits, for example. But like, when I get paid, it's just straight through PayPal, and it just says sort out your own country's taxes. But then it's just like, how do I have to pay tax? How do people check that I even got that money or whatever the fuck? And I don't know whether I have to pay taxes or someone's going to come after me or anything, and it's just kind of worrying.
I'm pretty sure taxes is just like, I mean, if you don't want the IRS on your ass and you going to jail for tax evasion. I mean, I don't know if it goes for Australia, but you know, I'm pretty sure it's probably the best to just pay taxes. Just keep yourself all right.
It's also, I did talk to someone about it once. I did like a freelance a video editing thing for someone, and asked him about it. And he's just like, the best thing you could do is just start up a secondary like bank account and just deposit like 10% of everything you make in there. So then if they do come, they could just take it from that account, and then whatever you got left over, you could spend on yourself. But also at the same time, he was saying that it wouldn't be financially worth it for them to do an investigation on me for me to only pay like a couple $100 in tax. that spend more than that trying to investigate me, so it wouldn't actually be worth it. They'd rather go over some like guy who runs a business.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I
like
don't really
evading paying
really
tax for like his
think
employees or whatever the fuck.
I don't really think. I mean, I don't know a whole lot, so I can't really say for sure. But I'm pretty sure it's probably in the best interest to pay taxes, even if it's just a little bit. Because I wouldn't want IRS running on my ass for not paying taxes. I'd pay taxes. Shit.
It's also like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know how
yeah.
to pay tax.
Me too. I don't know either. My mom's like, we're going to have to figure that out. You're going to have to establish that so you can get that YouTube money, playboy. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to adult, fam. It's weird.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I think's like fucked about like the education system and like pretty much everywhere around the world is like stuff like that they just don't teach us. Like I'm thankful like my math class taught me a little bit about like inflation and that sort of stuff, but nothing about like taxes, which, you know, and credit cards and that sort of shit. That they just like, well, you're an adult, good luck. Here's these things that you have to fucking survive.
Yeah. In our school system is fucked. Our school system is beyond fucked. Like I took a class in like personal finance to like really save up on money. But like I was like, "Oh, I don't mind that they're teaching it, but I mind that it's not on the forefront." Like I hate some schools teach it, some schools don't, but it's just not an established primary class that you have to take, you know. Like a lot of kids complain about not being able to learn about taxes, and I really think that should be a part of our education system to learn about taxes. Like us teenagers have been complaining for way too damn long, and I'm pretty sure we should learn about that. At least bring like an economics like branch of education. Like, all right, so if you want to graduate, you need to take economics 1, economics 2, and economics 3, and then in senior year you could just chill. Like I mean, some people might not want to take that, but it would be very beneficial to a bunch of students in the long run, because I myself don't know how taxes work, or how, like, if I were to give a nugget of advice that my cousin passed on to me, learn anything and everything about economics. That's what I'm doing now. Like, I'm not even taking it as a class. Like, I'm just trying to learn about it in general. Like, go to your local library and learn about economics, because it will save your ass. And like, if you don't know what the heck you want to do in college, just go to a trade school and then just find something simple, and then you can work from there, or have like a friend hook you up with a job. That's simple. I'm pretty sure you can most definitely agree to that, right?
Yeah. Just go on your own and just try and find it. Because I mean, I don't know. There's no real excuse, I guess, for just being like, I don't know how taxes work. When I mean, I probably could just Google it and spend like 10-20 minutes and be like, oh, that's how it works.
This website simplified it for me. Oh, I now know now. Skill tree.
Yeah.
Skill tree
But
unlocked.
I mean, like,
economics.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no real excuse. I guess nowadays we can just be like, Google, how do tax work? And it'd be like, oh, that's actually a lot easier than I thought it was. But it's easy to complain, damn it.
It is really easy to complain. I think we developed that way too much as a society, or like really as like all like a complete race in a sense. We've developed that habit way too harshly. We complain about way too much. A lot of people complain about the most pointless shit. Like even memes, which are like a hilarious media at times. People still find a way to complain about it. And I'm just like, it's just the picture that is interchangeable with text on the internet that you found on Instagram that shouldn't really bother you a whole lot, but it does.
But it triggers me. It goes. It's I identify as an Apache
Oh,
helicopter.
don't get me
and
started
that
on
offends
this
me.
whole gender binary crap. Ugh. There's only two genders. If you got a pee-pee and you got a vagina, then that's it. Like, until you grow like an octopusy or something, and that develops into its own like species or like its own gender, then call me about like calling it whatever that calling you an Apache helicopter. But
I'll make an exception, like Thailand, for example. There is people that are born with I think two X's and Y chromosomes, which basically means that you're both male and female, and so you have breasts and you have basically it's a trap. It's a trap. It has tits
what a
and it
way
has
to
and it has a
simplify it. I
dick.
love it.
Like, yeah, and they're actually like are genetically both male and a female. It's also gay, by the way. If you say otherwise,
Oh, traps,
you're also
traps
pretty
are gay. Traps are gay. If you're born with the like, I've
Yeah.
even made videos about it. Like, traps are gay, but futa is not gay because it's an appendage that's attached onto a female. It's still a female. It's still a dick, but it's on a female.
It's well, you just basically just said what a trap was.
You're gonna need to think about that one. Seems like you're Bill Nye now. Ah, shit. That means I'm gonna have to remake those two videos. Fuck. You've outsmarted me, Mr. GreenCast. I'll get you next time.
Fucking rip. Oh man, fucking literally every fucking week when I post up that thing and asking for questions, it's
Are
just always
traps
common.
gay?
It's just are traps gay.
I mean,
and
like if it's a boy trying to be a female, right?
I-
Like if you put tits on a guy, like that shit's still gay because it's a guy. Like if you're a man fucking a guy with the appendages of like breasts and shit, it's still a guy underneath. Is appendage the right? I don't think so, but
no, because I think appendage is more like for limbs.
I'll just say augmentation for, I guess, if that works. The augmentation of breasts onto a male, and you fuck that person with those augmentations, it makes you gay because you believed they were a female, but they started off as a male. But if you flip the script, like, I mean, this is kind of what I truly believe, but if you flip the script and give a female the appendage of a dick, it doesn't make it gay because it was started off as a female. Like that.
Yeah, but
It now has a dick, but that doesn't
dick.
make it like officially
Dick's
a man.
gay.
It's still a female, like underneath. Like if it had like a behemoth of a dick, like that's like unrealistic in size. They like I'm pretty sure you would just say it's a female with the it's a female with a pee-pee.
So if a girl puts a strap-on,
Yeah.
that's fair enough. But if a girl has a dick,
No.
it is gay.
Like, all right, think about it this way. All right, let me try to simplify it in the best way possible. If a man has tits and you fuck said man with said tits, that is gay because it started off as a man. All right, if you fuck a female that has a penis, though not birthed with it, like it wasn't born with a penis, it just like, fuck it, I'll just have a dick one day. It's not gay because it still started off as a female. You get what I'm saying?
So if you fucked a transvestite that was from female to male, that's not gay.
That's no. It's a weird
fuck?
thing that I've like really tried to learn.
What?
And yeah.
It sounds like you've gone deep, pun intended, on every sort of.
I feel like I need to
thing.
remake that video now. I really feel like I need to go back and just like I think I need to remake that video because it sounded really repetitive, just with different wording every time. I was like, "It's a female. What are the dick?" Like, you know, I think I should have simplified it better. But you know, if it's a female and it was like, "Fuck it, I'll just put a dick on myself one day," and it's not gay if you fuck that female with a penis.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I had to learn about
All
that
right,
subject. It's weird.
fucking. Let's get off traps because I looked at the question and I'm like, let's not acknowledge it and hopefully.
But
they'll go
traps,
away, and now I made it
like
worse.
to definitively answer, traps are indeed gay because it's men acting like females. There you go. There's your answer.
Fucking hell. So the last thing I want to talk about before we get into the autistic part of the podcast. I totally stole it from H3H3 and his podcast, but it's I don't know. It's a really interesting thing that I want to ask all my guests now too. Is do you have any spooky ghost stories or even paranormal stories?
I don't really think so, but like
it's okay if you don't, because I don't really have any like straight ones.
there was like a time.
Not everyone does.
There was like a time in my life when I was like super young, and I like not that young, but I was like 10 or something, and like there was like a whole entire good like chunk of years where I like kept seeing like shadow people, in a sense. It's weird. It's
what?
Like shadow creatures or some shit. Like I don't see them anymore, obviously, but like there was like I was like it was not even in the dark. Like I would see them in broad daylight as well for like half a second, and it was like the craziest shit to me.
What the fuck?
It's like, what the fuck? Does that really happen? I never really had time to never really had a chance to really Google it, but there was like a good segment from like when I was like 10 to like 13 where I was like seeing shadow people and like creatures and shit.
What the fuck? What were they doing?
They was just
existing?
standing there for like a split second, but my like retina caught them all the time. It was crazy. I don't know what was going on. I just ignored it as best as I could, but I was like, it's probably something wrong with my eyesight.
That's fine.
So yeah, I always assumed there was something wrong with my eyesight.
Fucking A.
So
yeah, I mean, I swear I've read something or other like that, or it's just like where you see like illusions in the corner of your eye where your brain tries to fill it in.
I'm pretty sure it's
happens.
just that, but I had it for like a good while.
It's like the best example I can give is when you hold like your finger up to like your nose and like how you can see through it. It's just your brain going, I don't know what I'm doing, and then you see through it, and it just fills it in.
Yeah, but I only really have that story. Like I don't really have like a shadow, not like a shadow, a ghost story per se. Like there was shit that was haunted or whatever the heck. So I mean that's like probably as close as I can get. So
yeah, I mean, like I don't really have anything like that. I mean, there was like times when I was like young too, where I had like this. How do I even describe it? It was like this like castle knight figure set thing, but they were like compressed, like in cartoony, and I bought it. Well, my parents bought it from like a local markets here, and I remember just coming back upstairs one day. And I just like looked through my window, and I swear I saw them like moving around, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And that was like the first and last time I ever saw something like that.
Damn.
But yeah, that's the closest I really have, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. This is also just like every time I remember it, I swear like the memory did, because that's the thing as well with the brain. The more you remember our memory, the more it like deteriorates and like almost like changes. So it's like I don't know whether like that actually happened or
like it was just like
who
like
fucking
your
knows?
Imagination of sorts.
Yeah, or it's just like imagination or like a dream that I just can't distinguish the two at this point.
Huh. That's odd.
Yeah. Alright, well, I suppose we'll get into just the most autistic part of this fucking
I asked
podcast.
my Discord for some questions about you as well. So, we'll start with you first.
But yeah, I'll do a middle spiel first. If you have any comments, questions, life advice, any of that sort of shit that you want to send my way, you can either send it via my email, mrgreentext@gmail.com. It's Mr. Green Text with an S on the end of that. Or you can send it to the community tab, which I will put up a post a couple of days or like halfway through next week on asking for topics and questions for next week's podcast. And
I'm so jealous that you have the community tab, man. I would love to communicate with my YouTube side, like the YouTube audience, a lot more instead of just making update videos. Because that really fucking. No,
you don't have the community tab. I thought it was like
it's for 10,000. Like
has.
it's for people with 10,000 subscribers or more.
Oh fuck! Rip.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I was like, why don't I have it? And then I searched it up, and it was like, you have to have 10,000 subscribers, and I was like, fuck. And I was like, well, more the reasons for me to work on my goal because I want to have that too. So, unless if they like tone it down a bit. Then I'm like, oh man, you gave me nothing to really fight for now because you decreased it down to 5,000. Yeah.
But yeah.
So questions from the audience, autistic questions. I must hear them.
Let's see, what have we got here? Marco R says, hello, Mr. Greentext. How is it like to live in Australia? Is the wildlife that dangerous? And how are the Australian bitches? Are they hot and freaky? Stay safe. I mean, it's fine to live in Australia. There's definitely differences between like America and Australia, because I'm just going to assume that's where you live, because that's where a majority of my audience is. Definitely like the climate is probably the biggest difference here. Fucking goddamn differing metric systems and everything else. Like, I was about to say like, oh yeah, like a nice cool 24 degrees, but I don't know what that is in fucking Fahrenheit. Because you use that for some reason, which I mean, like, it's probably more precise than degrees, but, you know, you use inches, so you have no say.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. The climate here is definitely a lot more stable, I'd say. Although, I say that when it's like 10 degrees at the moment here. Which is pretty fucking cold for us. Well, cold enough to put all the heaters on in the house. The wildlife isn't really that dangerous, unless you're like in fucking Alice Springs in the desert, where everything's gonna try and kill you. I mean, we do obviously have like some of the most poisonous and dangerous bugs and animals in the world. Like, there's been multiple times where I've just found like a 2-meter long fucking snake skin in the gutter, and it's like, cool, there's the skin, where the fuck's the snake?
Oh no, we're about to see our maker now.
Yeah, pretty much. Or even like, there's been a couple like deadly spiders, but you know, the redback spider, for example, that's not really that common. There's been times where I have found them like in the house, but yeah, it's not as like well, I mean, there's the oceans too, with like at least 3 or 4 different type of jellyfish that blend into the water that are poisonous and can kill you in a matter of hours. But you know, you just ignore them and forget about them when you swim in the ocean.
So basically, everything will kill you. This is your American translation from Herothehero.
As long as you're careful, everything shouldn't kill you. As long as you don't piss it off.
That as well. Yeah. But the more important question, which I heard in the second half of that, by I forgot his name. But are there bitches though?
Oh yeah, stream bitches, are they hot and freaky? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard to like. I have nothing to base it off, because if I haven't left the country before.
Yeah, like you've never
like,
seen
oh,
like
man,
a straight up like
Australian bitches got nothing on like those German bitches.
Like a ginger American. Like, yeah, you can't really base it off anything. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so.
I can't base it off anything either.
Other people
I can't
have
really
told me.
say for sure. Like, I mean, if we're talking about like ethnicity, like from what you've seen, like probably online, you could probably you could probably say that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, beach culture is definitely a lot bigger thing here, and, like, just being fit, I guess. But, I mean, there's also just, like, fucking Australian bogan, just in the middle of nowhere, just fucking have so many dairies and fucking skull and a beer, and you'd be fucking raw. So, I mean, like, there's two polar opposites, I guess. It's just, like, yeah, the hot, like, people that go to the beach, and just, like, the deros.
Yeah, I can't even say for, like, in the States as well, because I've never been out the States. So I can't really be like, oh, that Britain is a fucking sweet, man. British girls are fucking hot.
I will
my
say
God,
there's
Angelina White. Like, I can't really say that. So
there's the most like attractive accent that I think. Oh well, the first like probably most attractive accent I think I don't even know what particular part of Britain it is, but there's definitely a specific British accent on a female that I find definitely the best. I don't know what it's called though, because it's not this accent where it's just over
like
the
really
top
posh and shit, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's not like that. Like it's way more calmed down.
I don't even know what it's called.
Wow, like that's what gave me my attraction to Amelia Pond and Clara Oswald in Doctor Who, bro. Their voices were so.
But that's number one, and then number two is probably just like an Irish,
definitely
Irish accent.
And yeah,
on a female.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gay.
Because I'm not gay. Yeah, but Irish accent is like it's more rough around the edges if it's way thicker. But I really enjoy it though.
Yeah.
Because when they pronounce shit differently, it's hilarious.
Yeah, same. Oh, I actually recorded a green text the other day called The Ballad of 8 Beers, where it actually has like an Irish dude in it, and I did like an Irish accent that I think's all right, and that was actually really fun, like doing a fucking Irish accent.
Yeah. Oh hey, wait! Can we talk quickly about the about the like the whole entire gigantic collaboration with like a bunch of voice actors that I was a part of? Like it was me, Mr. Green, Mr.
Oh sure, if you want to, yeah.
Creepswork, and then there was like 2 other people, right?
Oh yeah, The Legend of Captain Drake, where I had you, I had Creepswork, I had one of my in real life mates, Jonathan. He actually directed my grad film, as well. He does some voice acting stuff because I wanted a nice gravelly voice, and I'm like, oh, hit him up. And then Creepswork recommended me because I needed a female, and he recommended me this girl Ashley Tolfo. And she's done some stuff in the creepypasta community before, so I just hit her up, and I paid her a little bit. And she's like, yeah, no, it was fun. And yeah, it turned out pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, I was like wondering how you guys like all got to like branch off and know each other. And I was like, oh, well, I know that he knows Mr. Creepswork, and I know he had like somebody else from like just like a friend of his. But how did he get that girl voice on there? And I was wondering if I would ever get an explanation on that, and I'm glad that you've explained it on the podcast.
Yeah, no, it was literally just like originally I was gonna get a girl called Dead Jersey, who does like comic narration and voices and that sort of stuff, and she's got like a couple 100,000 subs. And originally she was gonna be down to do it, but her fucking like laptop like straight up just like committed seppuku a couple of weeks ago.
I am dead.
And so I'm just like, don't worry about it. I'll see if I can find someone else. And then I just hit up Creeps and be like, hey, do you know any other female narrators? And she's just like, yeah, here's this chick's deets. And I'm like, cool.
I'm just imagining a laptop on like a top of a mountain with like a red band on its head, and has like a fucking gigantic stylus, and just stabs himself and commits suicide and plunges off the fucking cliff. It's like, I'm dead.
That's what I like to imagine what happened to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like my brain just went places with that. Like that whole entire segment, I was like, that should be a story. Like if somebody could animate that, Jesus, I would love it forever.
got a question from good old Worst Rocking. Uh, and he says, how many durries could a durry muncher munch if a durry muncher
A
could munch
lot.
durries? So do
No, I
you
do
know what a
not.
durry is?
But I just relate it to like a woodchuck, like in the States. Because how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
So a durry, a durry is basically Australian slang for cigarette. And a durry muncher here is basically just
The
slang
person who
for
smokes a lot of cigarettes.
oh, fucking. Well, it's even just like, it's hard because I'm just like, oh, this Australian slang. It's actually just this Australian slang. So I was just gonna say, oh, a durry muncher. It's just a fucking a lad. But then I'm like, oh, fucking. So you know those fucking cunts that have like Adidas and branded
I love
like
how you
shirts
said
and
Adidas
polos
instead
and
of
fucking
Adidas. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, basically,
whatever. And then like like Nikes, and they have the little fucking
yeah,
druggy bag.
yeah, the typical fuckboy in the States. Yep, I've met a few.
Yeah, basically like a fuckboy. Durry
Uh,
muncher, same sort of thing. Because he's so fucking fucked in the head that he eats the ends of his cigarettes.
Like I could talk shit about like people like that, but like in my high school, like there was like a good gang of them that were like really fucking smart, like smarter than me, and I was really fucking surprised, and I was like, well, damn, that really taught me how to not judge a book by its cover. So, or at least that empathized that.
Yeah, it's a pretty
emphasized that. So, but still,
pretty safe bet here that
yeah,
they're like a dropkick.
They're still fuckboys though. As a cover for being a nerd. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, if it gets more bitches on your dick, then that's, hey, do you, man? Do you?
Lichzim the Great asks, have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
What the fuck?
Wait, what? You don't know what this
I've
means?
never heard of it.
Oh dear. Oh, you normie. You
Oh,
fucking
shit, call me a
normie.
normie.
Have you've seen Star Wars, right?
I'm gonna just stay silent on this one. I'm gonna just stay quiet on this one.
Yo, what the fuck?
Like I was in a very closeted home, so I can't really relate. Like nigga, I grew up with fucking Kool-Aid, bootleg fried chicken, and bootleg cereal from a fucking local Aldi with no cable and like no access to a theater. So like I was like not able to like see Star Wars like at a young age, to the point where I was like, oh, I like sci-fi. And even watching it later now, it just doesn't really do anything for me. So I don't really like know much about like Star Wars lore or anything like that.
Wow. No,
I know
yeah,
everybody's
just
gonna
know-
fucking.
you
I
just
know
fill it
some
with anime
like a lot
instead.
of people are gonna be like, ban this dude from life forever, or like send him to the fucking moon. He's like, he's not. He doesn't have the right to talk about any other media that belongs to non-normies. Ban him from reviewing hentai. That's our thing. And I'm like, that's a part of our culture.
I don't know. If you do want to watch it, I suggest the viewing order of just watch 4, 5, 6. And then if you enjoyed that, maybe watch 1, 2, 3. And then, watch some of the other...
Like I watched like
spin-offs
I
Force
only
Awakens and
seen
Last
like
Jedi.
half of the Force Awakens, and like the other Star Wars movies, I could barely get through them because it just wasn't for me. So yeah, a lot of people hate that unpopular opinion. But
I don't know.
It's just not my thing. It's just not my cup of tea, man.
I'll just leave it with the answer to the question of that it's not a story that the Jedi would tell you. Sammy Ree asks, do you read comics, and have you ever heard of Cyberfrog or Ethan Van Shiver?
No and no, but I have read a bunch of comics. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I read a lot of comics. I've got a pretty extensive I don't know. I'm more of a fucking DC Comics fanboy than anything. I own like 2 Marvel comics. I got a pretty big collection of DC Comics stuff. I've read a lot of the major stuff. I don't know what else to really like say. Some of my favorites would probably be Superman Red Sun, which is the alternate version
In
of
Russia,
Superman where he
instead
lands
of-
in
yeah.
in Soviet Russia and grows up being a Russian propaganda icon. That's pretty fucking trippy. Read a lot of the New 52 run. Not so much into the Rebirth sort of stuff. Most just I don't have like the money to buy the fucking 10 books that are like up to volume 5 at this point each. But yeah, I mean, I read a lot of comics. Preacher, that's a really good fucking comic series as well that I recommend to people. Which is it also had a TV series, which is basically about a dude called Jesse Custer, and he's basically bestowed with the power of God, which means that when he activates it, anything he says, people have to do.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it ensues some pretty fucking fucked stuff, and it's like an R-rated comic, so they're not shying away from stuff. Oh, and also his best friend is a Irish vampire.
That sounds ridiculous to be so good. Oh my god. It sounds so ridiculous to be so good in my mind. I need to check that
great.
out. I haven't, like, again, being a very closeted child, like, I didn't really get to experience too many comics, so, the most experience I had, was just, like, newspaper strips or, like Calvin and Hobbes by, like, Bill Watterson, which is, like, my favorite thing ever. And I've had my dabble in, like, certain comics, like Gotham General and like the Nightwing series, and I had some my fair share of campy shit, like the fucking Archie comics. Yeah, so like I'm not really extensive as you are, but I don't know. Like my whole life is just basically giant a slate of paint that hasn't been finished yet. So I can't really say I dabble into like one specific thing.
It's also like the fact that I didn't really like, because obviously like I loved superheroes growing up, but I never really read comics as a kid. It wasn't until like late high school / going to university where I actually had like a little bit of money left over where I could actually afford to buy them. And I don't buy single issues. I buy the trade paperbacks, which are like the amalgamation of like runs of comics, because they're just a lot easier to like actually read than like, I want to read this run, and so pull out like 10 of these fucking issues of shit. But it's also just like a lot better to like collect and stuff.
I think
too.
I still have like this gigantic book of just like a bunch of random comics. Like, I think so. I think it's in the living room. Yeah, I have like this gigantic book. I don't remember what it's called. And I don't want to pull it up because I don't want to take too much time. But it's like, it has like a bunch of old comics, and I was just like, I like it. It's cool. I had it since I was like 9 years old.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I never got to finish it either. It was like a really big, gigantic book, and I was like, that's fucking cool. And the only thing I hate about it is that like they don't have like a specific like continuation. So like when you read that one specific strip from that one artist, it's just that's it. Like there's no like, it's like to be continued, and I'm like, bitch, to what? There's nothing else. And you know, that always pissed me off.
Yeah, that's the thing with single issues too, is just like, yeah, if you inherit someone's fucking collection, it's just they're not gonna be the same run of someone's writing. It's just gonna be random fucking bits and pieces, which is the good thing about trades, because they include
that's
the
pretty much
entire
all
thing.
I got was like I had like amalgamations of like Calvin and Hobbes, like Scientific Progress Goes Blank was probably like my favorite like whole entire bulk comic book type compilation, because it just had so many good ones. And like fucking I don't remember the title, but I know it involved the Mars. But it was like girls from another planet or something like that. I don't remember. I don't really remember. Or like the gross treehouse. That was probably my favorite thing from like Calvin and Hobbes. That like I grew up on those shits. Those shits were awesome. I've always loved Bill Watterson's facial expressions, especially for Hobbes because they were fucking hilarious. It's basically like Tom and Jerry, but within a like in a comic. Pretty much it. Where you really see the slapstick happen, so like your imagination runs wild with it. It's really cool. But my my repertoire, I guess. Like no, my experience with comics isn't really all that extensive because, again, closeted child that grew up in a Christian household with no cable and barely a social life up until like middle school. So it was really just like you stay in one place, so it's kind of hard to really branch out and find a bunch of other content.
Yeah, fair enough.
But now that the internet is a thing,
then
I can pretty much find anything I want.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
I got another question here from Sir Derp Darpington, and he says, "Why are you obsessed with Tom, you fucking furry?"
Oh, okay. So let me talk about the origin of the Tom character. All right. I mean, well, not the actual Tom character, but like what I use for my icon. So, I was texting my friend Aaron. We were like texting, we were like sending reactionary pictures to each other, and he was like, "Yo, I found the funniest shit ever," and he sent me that specific Tom picture, and it was like the most hilarious thing. I stared at for like a good like 10 minutes, and I was crying from laughter, and I was like, "This is gonna be like at that moment I knew I was like, all right, this is something I'm gonna use." So I decided to use it as my icon, and a lot of people found it fitting for both GreenCast and like the Meet It or Beat It series, because it's like, or like me talking about like weird obscure adult topics like in that sort of area. Like if like it's disgusted and like angered at the same time, and it was like that really represents like you're disgusted about traps or fooders or whatever the heck, and like you're disgusted by lolly, or you get angry at like specific genres. Like it really was like it started off as like a really funny picture, but to other people it's like, oh, I see it as this identity and this identity, and then I was like, all right, let me grab like a bunch of other like Tom reactionary pictures, because Tom and Jerry was my life as a kid. Like whenever I was like being babysat, or like I had to be in somebody else's house for like a little bit while my mom was away at work, I always watched Tom and Jerry because it was so good. And like seeing freeze frames of like slapstick or like a specific image is like the hilarious shit ever. Like so the Tom picture came from a friend text messaging me and showing me this photo, and I was like, that's funny, and then I just made it my icon, and everybody is just like, that really fits. And I've been using Tom icons ever since. I mean, there's like a period where I used like a fucking toad, a black toad with like big bushy ass eyebrows that I got from like I Hate Everything, and it was the most hilarious thing. And like ran for like a little bit, and I was like, nah, it doesn't feel right. Tom feels like the right character for my icon. There was like a point where I used the dog because like, I mean, I pretty much like my icon is just basically funny images or Tom or both. So it was just pretty much because it was a funny image. So that it's a very overly explained. It didn't need to be explained that much. I could have just said it was just a funny image and I liked it, so I used it. Why did I do that? I don't know why.
Yeah, mine was just like, because originally I had the heavy, and I was literally, when I made the channel, I'm like, I don't know what to make it. So I looked at my reactions folder and I'm like, heavy will do. And then someone like compared me to a Russian, and I'm like, I don't want to be Russian, I want to be Australian. And I'm like, oh yeah.
And it represents you a lot better.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like my phone Tom, like where he's on the phone. That was the most hilarious shit. I ever looked at, because like it immediately made me think of like all the disturbing types of like pornography that's out there, and it's like Tom immediately calling like the fucking FBI or some shit. And I was like, yes, that's my image now. I mean, but I'll never get rid of like, I mean, unless if it's like if it's overstayed its welcome, like I'll get rid of Tom. But like, not like for everybody else, like especially my audience, it's really like it really has become like a good staple for my content, because they recognize it, and it's like, oh, it's this guy that does this green text, or like, oh, it's this guy that talks about this specific thing, or whatever the heck. So whenever I make content and they see like it's from like the Tom avatar, it's like, oh, and then they read Herothehero, and it's like, oh, that's him. It's become my icon now. It's become my brand now. So I mean, I'm not mad at it. You know, if people are like mad that I changed it, it's probably because it's a funny ass image that I wanted as my profile picture. Like I was gonna put up like a shitty, like a horribly drawn Yoshi as my icon, but then I was like, I think I should send it to you through Discord if I can get it.
Yeah, go on. I'll throw it in the body.
Find it. All right. Let's see here.
Yeah, it was definitely like tricky with mine too, or like slightly annoying, because there's other like Australian shit posters on YouTube that also just use the same picture as well. Like Worth Rocking, my mate, he's also in Australia, and he uses the fucking icon too. So it's like, fuck. When
it's gonna be so confusing
like,
between.
That's Mr. GreenText. Oh, it's what's Worth Rocking. But I mean, like his background's like pinky and purple, and a lot more zoomed in, whereas mine's just like, you know, me with being an Australian patriot with the flag in the background.
I can't seem to find it. I'll send it to you when I can. But right now, like, this is the most hilarious. Hold on, let me see if I can find it on my. It's probably on my desktop somewhere, because I usually put reaction images on there for like a good chunk of time before I move them.
Oh no, you're not one of those people. That
no. I keep my shit organized.
Are you?
I make sure I keep my shit organized. Like,
oh, thank God.
Like, I don't. Like, I'm just wondering if I put it in a recycling bin or somewhere. Huh. Speaking of my recycling bin, I have to delete a lot of shit. I'll get to that when I get to that. But I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you eventually.
Yeah, cool. Next question I have is from good old regular commenter Malamizi, and he asks, what software do you use for recording audio and editing?
I'm pretty sure we both use Audacity, right? Yeah, like I use Audacity.
Yeah, so I use Audacity for recording audio and cleaning it up a little bit, but then I just export it into Adobe Premiere and just edit it in there.
I mean, you could totally edit it in Adobe, not Adobe, in Audacity by like cutting out chunks, but you know, it's probably better to do it in a editing software. So that's what we both use. That's like the most common. Like, I don't really hear of any other alternatives for that type of stuff.
It's mostly because it's so easy and it's fucking free. So it's like, yeah, of course people are going to use it. But yeah, no, I take it into Adobe just because I use it a lot more for other things. I'm just a lot more comfortable in there and a lot faster. Like I've got a heap of keyboard shortcuts. Like ages ago I bought like a World of Warcraft mouse. Never played it before, but it's one of the ones.
Yes, I found it. I fucking found it. Here you go.
Oh, nice. What the fuck is that?
I found it on like a Twitter thread where everybody was drawing Yoshi with like their least dominant hand, and I was like, that one's the one. Because it looked adorable.
Christ.
It kind of represents like my childish sort of behavior when it comes to like, even like on now, like I'm just like really immature and just loudmouth and not really PC, and you know. But then like Tom was just like, it just kind of like it became a staple. I couldn't really use it anymore. I couldn't use the Yoshi, so I was like, fuck it. I'm only gonna use Tom reactionary based pictures now. It's my thing. I found a really cool, a really hilarious looking Tom with his like eyes popping out. It's the fucking funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
I think I can find it. Maybe. I don't know. It was in my Discord. Somebody posted it, and I was like, I want it. And
So the last like decent question that I could really see here, is from Lames Janie or Lames J. I don't know. It's written weird. He says, if you were to live your life in a past era, which would it be?
I don't think I would. I mean, there's too much good shit here in the present. I don't think I could really do that. Like if I go past the
is
if,
it just
if
like
I go past like the if I go past the 90s, like I'm pretty much gonna be fucked as a black African American. So like
oh yeah
yeah, so I can't
you're
really
fucked.
do that.
A little bit harder for you. But it's like okay, so recontextualize the question. It's not like you just uproot your life and go back. It's you're straight just living a life without any knowledge of the future. What do you think would be a good time period? And also ignoring the whole race thing
Like
and how
a
you'd be
good
pretty
month
screwed.
ago. Like that's a piece of time that's technically in the past. So I'll just live like a month ago, not knowing the future. Because I don't wanna be past like the 90s or 80s or whatever the heck. Like they still had too much tension.
Right.
So. And pretty much, and I don't want to live in like a
huge
Columbine, pre VTech, pre 9/11. Because that's I mean, I was born before, but I was born in '99, but like I didn't really get to like live that.
Yeah.
So it was just an experience that I wasn't unbeknownst to. So
Yeah, no.
like
same.
I don't want to live before that.
I think I was like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Don't want to really experience that sort of shit.
Yeah, and if I was 8.
But yeah, I don't.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm a huge fan of like Assassin's Creed and everything. So like, there's definitely a lot of like really fucking like cool eras that would be all right. But it's also kind of just like, live in that era. Would you be like, say during let's just say like the Industrial Revolution. Like, if you're gonna live, you're most likely just gonna be a shit pusher, just working a fucking job in a factory. And it's like, cool, this is a real interesting fucking life that I'd have. Unless you're like a prominent sort of figure, I have a feeling that most like time eras or famous time eras like that, you'd probably just end up being a fucking Joe Blow, just doing everything else and being a fucking peasant.
I think what they meant by that question was like what type of era would not in any logical sense, like what era would be like the most fitting like for you, like let's say if like you like the aesthetic of the 80s or the 90s, or like even like stuff like Greece where they had like awesome cool looking automobiles and like poofed up hair with like drenched in hairspray or something like that. Like I think they mean it in a more dystopian type of way instead of like a realistic like where would you live in time. I think that's more of what they mean. Because if we think about it logically,
right,
nothing really good comes out of living in the past like that. So I think that's what they meant. Like if that's what they meant, then most definitely the 50s, because like the refrigerators looked so fucking cool. Something as simple as refrigerators look so fucking tight. I mean, I know they have models like that now, but I want to Indiana Jones that bitch. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I want to say like, I think it's 17 something or other, during like the golden age of piracy. I'd been a fucking pirate. That'd be cool. But then scurvy would not be
like,
cool at the same time. If
you're thinking of like where it's like a perfect world where like there's no like I don't want to say consequences, but sort of like there's no really like heavy restrictions, or like there's no like politics or anything like there's no like rules of structure that were set.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was basically the golden age of
Yeah.
piracy.
But like, you don't have to deal with
Well,
like
it's
you
just
have
like,
modern
fucking
medicine or
fuck
whatever.
the
Like you don't have to
system.
deal with like just living like just
Yeah.
basically playing that area like that era, but in God mode.
Yeah. Playing that era in God mode, that's a pretty good
Yeah,
explanation.
I'm pretty sure I simplified it the
Yeah,
best
piracy,
way.
you know, just being a fucking pirate. Fucking everything. In every sense
I'm
of
gonna
that
take
word.
your booty, my booty. Yes, your booty, and also your booty.
You wanna do questions on your
I
Discord?
I have a
Yes, I
few
did a couple.
questions that pertain to everything Aussie and shit like that. Well, not everything Aussie, but
Oh boy.
Roach says, "Why the fuck my pee hard?" And I'm like, I don't know. Why the fuck your pee hard?
Listening to my voice. I get that a lot.
Yeah, it makes my penis erect. Listening to Mr. GreenCast's voice. Oh, listening to it for an hour. I think I need to go to a hospital now. Ask Green Text when he's going to do a meetup. I think you really like your like.
What?
It's basically like going back to that whole entire like public meet and greet type thing. So he's like, when are you gonna do a meetup?
Well, I mean, it's also like I'm not gonna get shot if I do a meetup
Like
here.
I'm not
'cause
going.
it's
Like I
Australia.
don't think you. I think you really prefer your privacy. Like
Yeah, it's also like for now at least, I'm still gonna remain anonymous. Like I've built like a costume persona thing that I can go out in public, whatever, and be anonymous, I guess. But like, it's also tricky because I've also mentioned a lot of the grad film Deadweight that I'm working on, and that has my real name attached to it. So when that comes out, and I said what I've worked on it, so people are just gonna look in the credits and just be like, "Oh, that's who Mr. Green Text is," and then. Yeah, I come up when you Google my name because I've got an IMDb.
you have an
Whoops.
IMDb. It's really weird,
Yeah.
but also sick at the same time.
Yeah, no, I mean, we worked with industry professionals on it, so we're like, fuck
You're
yeah,
like
we're going to make
you're
an IMDb.
19, right? Yeah, you're 19. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That you're already like
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
already on the internet in that way.
And already finished university.
Christ, you finished university at 19?
I don't know, it was...
Jesus, I gotta be there for
Yeah,
like
dude.
4 years.
Yeah, I don't know, it was good, because the course that I did, I got a bachelor in film, majored in post-production, but it was a 2-year fast track, so it was actually 3 years condensed into 2 years, and we did trimesters instead of semesters, so it just meant that we worked for majority of the entire year. I think we finished each year like a week before Christmas, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, but I preferred that a lot more because I'm qualified, I guess.
'Cause you got a bachelor.
Now for the shit that I want. Yeah,
Go check his IMDb.
and I mean
His
I've got
name
stuff
is
to show for it.
Beep. Like, just fucking leak your shit, like an asshole.
Yeah, I don't think I've said my name.
I don't think you really
Right.
said your name
I think,
anywhere.
I hope.
Like, I even try to disguise my name for like the sole reason
Yeah.
of like I want to stay private. Because like if I blew like, and I love
Yeah,
the mystique
yeah.
of not having people know my actual name. Like I've deleted old videos because of it.
It's
too.
also like, there's like a whole thing, or just like the mystery behind it. Well, like for the best example I can think of was like Mr. Creepypasta. Before he did his face
Yeah.
reveal, whatever the hell, it was almost like better because he just like it's just a voice that it'd just be thing. But then once he did his face reveal, it's like it's kind of removes the mystique. It's like it's just this.
Yeah, I did.
this guy
I did like
reading
I mean,
it.
I showed my face a lot in like early years, and a lot of people do go back to that, and they're like, "Oh, so you're not like a fat basement dweller?" And I'm like, "No, I'm still a basement dweller. I'm just not fat." I don't have a neck beard, even though I'm kind of trying to obtain one, because I want facial hair and I don't want to stop
Yeah.
looking like a baby face.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to grow a beard, but there's not much I can fucking grow at my age.
Same. I only have like chin hairs.
Yeah. Yeah, I can grow a mean door knocker. That's about it, really.
Yeah, but I mean, not having beards are coming back in style though. Like people actually shaving and shit, having baby faces. So we might have actual hope.
We'll fucking see.
Any
other questions?
Let's see here. Ask him if Down Under properly depicts Australia.
Yes.
I come from a land under. Let's see. Do either of you like the Shad? And I'm pretty sure he's referring to Shad Man.
Yeah. He's alright. I've seen better. I've seen worse.
Like I'm doing a 5K special on him. What the fuck do you think? Like, like, I mean, he's one of my top 5 for the reason being that like it's not just the art. It's just basically like the sort of legend that he's like created, like being this like very anti-PC, like fuck your rules, I do what the fuck I want and I get paid for it, which is like really something that
and also draw dicks on everything.
That's something that I want to aspire to be, but not like on that insane level. Like I just want to be a dude that does what the heck he wants and gets paid for it.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm trying to go for too. Because I mean, the green techs are nice and everything, but really, I'm trying to get into like the film industry, trying to work on post production and work on like props and that sort of stuff for films. And I mean, I do have like another side hustle where I sell replica props online, and it's actually going really fucking well at the moment too. I've got 2 3D printers, and I'm printing a lot of stuff and selling them online. I got to ship out like 3 or 4 orders after this is done too.
Yeah, I can't really say that I got a side hustle considering my education system and how flawed it is. Like they never really told us like I never really thought into the future like that. And I've always hated the question of what do you want to be when you grow up, and because I never had an answer for it. So me right now, like YouTube is all I got right now. YouTube's been the thing that I've been working hard for since like 2007. Like when I was a fucking kid and I was like, I just want to make fun stuff. But now that I do that, like I mean, when in like 2007, I was like, oh, I want to do that. And then now I was like 10 plus years later, I'm just like, all right, I want to do that, but on a professional level and like outdo every single one of my videos if I can. Or like change the aesthetic and
Right.
stuff like that.
Well, so it's just the way that I always look at it is just like find something that you enjoy and see if you can find out a way to monetize it. Like for me, it wasn't like always. It wasn't until like probably about 4 or 5 years ago where I'm like, I really enjoy making like props and costumes and that sort of shit. And then I'm like, how can I monetize it? And I'm like, oh, well, duh, sell it online. And so then that just kind of just led me to buying a 3D printer and then just mass producing it, sort of.
I mean, I've tried to find clever ways to actually get my content monetized. Considering what I do, like some of my shit gets surprisingly monetized because like YouTube doesn't really detect. I mean, it detects with this like closed captioning, but like certain words get messed up. So even if I say the F word, it sounds muddled, and like Google doesn't really pick that up, which is hilarious. And I'm like, I can get away with this, and
I don't know. I don't know how that works because like all of my content has like at least one fuck or cunt or it says nigger, and like I'd say probably 95% to 90% of my content is monetized. There's only like a couple, and the ones that are demonetized are the like
is it
weird
like
ones where it's like
the majority, like
guy
the
fucking
majority are demonetized, or like most of the time?
No, the majority are monetized. There's only like a select couple that I think people actually like reported because they got triggered by it, and they're all the ones, ironically, with the word cousin in the title, and I think you can see where that's going.
I don't understand why people get triggered by that shit. That shit's hilarious. I think.
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know.
But,
I've like considering that
yeah.
like we've all grown up with the internet, and we've all grown up with how YouTube, like considering me, because like I've been a user since like early 2000s, like late 2006, early 2007. Like I've ran through accounts. I've made content before from older channels, which are all deleted, by the way, so you can't search them motherfuckers up.
Or prohibited in my case.
Yeah. Like knowing, like learning, and like knowing how it's changed and how it's developed. Like I've always loved paying close attention to something that I like really have a passion for. So when it came to YouTube, I was like, all right, let me study the hell out of the algorithm and see how it works, and let me see if I can find a way to really utilize that to my advantage, because the algorithm doesn't understand everything fully yet. Like it's still developing. Like it's not like 100% like set in stone.
It's self-learning.
Which is really stupid. Like I'm pretty sure you should just have a set of rules and have a bot search, like find words like the F word in the title or like the C word in the title, and like immediately demonetize that based on that alone. Like I can understand like the closed captioning, but that's really flawed as well. So me learning how to adapt from so many years of experience of being on YouTube and living in the internet age, it's like I've been somewhat of an innovator that's like always on his toes because of YouTube. And now that YouTube's doing stupid shit with his fucking subscriptions, that was the last straw. YouTube, fix it. Like I've actually been planning on making a video about YouTube, which has like two parts, the U part and the tube part, where it's like the whole U part is like all aesthetic and like the content creator themselves, and then like the tube part would be like the system and how they should fix it, where it like would help everybody. I've been debating on making that video for like a good while now, and I don't know if I would want to release it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because like YouTube pulls shit like that with subscriptions.
The only thing I wish they did was tell us. That's
I also then look at,
hey, new update, we're changing some shit. That's it.
But then I look at that and I go, wow, that's fucking Jewish. And then I look at my stats on like Social Blade and I'm like, oh, this is the best week I've ever had for subs and views.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like the algorithm is becoming a really weird thing. Like first they had codes in there, like when you use like I'm forgetting what it's called, but I believe it was like not Control F, but like inspect element or whatever the heck, and then you find like a bunch of codes that are like detected on your video and shit, and then they remove that, and then there's like a bunch of other shit that they fucking do. Like even with thumbnails, they actually detect images. Like Google actually detects images on your thumbnail to see, like, because that's where most of my recent shit got demonetized, because they detect that image and it's like, oh, it's something adult, we're not gonna monetize you. Even though I never, like on the Meet It or Beat It series, I never swear. Like I make sure I never swear, and that's pretty much because of good script writing, or at least fairly decent script writing. But they still get demonetized probably because of the thumbnail. Like even if it's censored, they still detect like like a good tiny piece. So like I have to learn how to be careful from that.
Yeah, the only thing that fucks me with demonetization is I don't know why. Well, I might have an idea. Is the podcast on my channel? It flip-flops between demonetized and monetized. Like it demonetizes itself and then remonetizes itself like constantly on multiple episodes. And I don't know whether it's like the second word I say is cunt, or like, cause like I don't know why it's that. And I mean, like I have like other shit on my channel. But why
like
why the podcast?
Like it's a gray area. Like it's a gray area for that specific word. Like stuff like fuck, like you can say ass and shit all you want and you will still get monetized. But once you like hit stuff like the F word, it gets a little bit you get a little bit of problems. And then when it's the C word, it's a little bit weird, because I think YouTube's algorithm hasn't really like found an approach for what to really do for that. Or maybe it's its algorithm that hasn't really figured out like how bad it is, I guess, in a sense.
But it's also weird because it's just like in Australia,
Common
it's
common
just,
terminology.
it's just a fucking word. Yeah, as much of a meme it is, it's just like,
Yeah,
look at this fucking
it's
cunt over
common
here.
speech. It's common dialect. So it's really weird.
Yeah. Language evolves.
Ye old cunt. Getting scurvy on my boat and my ship.
Got one last question,
Y'all
so we can
niggas
get out
eat
to 2
beans?
hours.
That's it.
No, I gotta watch those carbs, dude.
I mean, black beans, boy, with rice and chicken, son. That's the shit.
Also, I have a thing where I fart a lot, and that probably would not fucking help.
Yeah, beans. I don't know why beans do that. I need to like do a quick Google search. Like, I'm like, everybody farts because they eat beans, and I'm like, why?
Probably something like I want to say gastric, but I'm talking out my ass.
It's probably like maybe like the inside of the bean, which is like really like where it stems from, I guess. Or maybe it's just like GMOs or whatever the heck, or like something. I don't know. But that's really the last question. It's just y'all niggas eat beans.
Oh, so every time I fucking do the podcast, I immediately forget about it until literally the last second. I have a thing where if people actually made the whole way through the podcast, I include a secret word or phrase that they have to include, so I know that they actually made it the whole way through. So do you have any suggestions of what to make that secret phrase and or
Shit,
word?
you're giving me too much power right now. I would say nigger faggot, but that's a little bit too easy because of iDubbbz.
Yeah.
Shit. Let's give it something somewhat PC. Frozen strawberries. There you go.
All right, sure. So if you actually made
Just
it the
say
whole way
frozen
through
strawberries.
this,
They won't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, it might be 2 hours because it just got cut out a few things. But yeah, if you actually made it the whole way through this almost 2 hour long podcast, be sure to include somewhere in your comments frozen strawberries. Be as creative as you want with that, because I know you guys love that shit. If you want to submit any questions, any topics, any of that sort of stuff, you can email me at mrgreentext@gmail.com, or any other life advice or whatever the fuck else. I had one email, but I'll read that next week. Or you can comment on the community tab that will go up sometime next week. Yeah, any final words here?
Stay up, get some good ass rest. Don't be like me and like lose sleep from writing scripts and shit. Always wear your seatbelt, brush your teeth, eat your family, drink a lot of water, but not like 8 cups, man. You'll have like a fucked up bladder. Learn about economics.
Space yourself.
And taxes and shit. And learn more than what school would teach you. I'm giving some good ass life advice. How was that? That was good?
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, no. Yeah, if you fucking wanna learn something, just go on YouTube. You can find a fucking tutorial for it. That's how I learned how to edit videos.
Same. That goes for me as well. That goes for pretty much every YouTuber nowadays. Don't be a fuckboy. There you go. That's the best advice. Just cut it off right there. Don't be a fuckboy.
Yeah. Don't be a fuckboy. Catch you later, cunts.